Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where they're doing some things to the telephone pole outside, so sorry if there's any noise during this, I can't help it. Today we are covering Superman number 17 and the third story in the comic, Muscles for Sale. A story that continues the whole weird anniversary theme to this comic, even though it's not an anniversary title. A very small, weak man, a thing that they actually describe as what a comic book artist would think is a nobody in the description in the comic. Or, well, Jerry Siegel just wrote that, and then the comic artist had to draw what he thought a nobody was. This guy manages to rob a jewelry store while taking down a dude that's twice his size and, jumping over police cars. He, of course, gets away. While he is getting away, he runs into Lois and Clark, and Lois tries to get Clark to do something, but because Clark is Superman, he doesn't want to lead Lois into thinking he's Superman. He's just going to pretend he can't do anything. So Lois gets annoyed with him. This is the meanest Lois has been in maybe 20 issues. 20 issues of Action Comics, maybe 10 issues of Superman. But yeah, she's really insulting him and just being tired of him, his excuses. His excuses that he's unable to take a jewelry store robber. I don't know what Lois wants from him. She sees an ad in the newspaper for Mike Mosby's gym where he promises that he can basically turn anybody into some sort of muscle-bound athlete. Clark doesn't want to do that, so she just leaves, tired of him. Clark, seriously, any other person who does not berate you and doesn't just date any other guy that comes along. God, she's so horrible to him. Clark, instead of going after the guy who robbed the jewelry store, who couldn't have gone that far away, he becomes Superman. You know, Superman, bright blue costume, red cape. And he goes to his fortress outside of town that he built on one of the mountains and in that mountainous area that seems to exist out of Metropolis. It's not the Fortress of Solitude. It's just a big place he can get into. This is an interesting thing, as this is the first time we've actually seen it in comics. And inside he has a little museum to things he's done, and this is where we get say the poster from that circus issue when he was a part of the circus to save the circus, and a few other references to other stories. It's a nice little interlude. It has nothing to do with the story, but it's a nice little interlude. I'm just wondering, who the hell did he build this for? Because it's very much like a museum piece, for people to come up and look at, and no one's going to the fortress. At least not now. No one's going to the fortress. They have to go up a big mountain. So mountain climbers might find it, and then there's other ways he's kept people out. Who is he building this for? Back in the real world, there's another robbery that Clark and Lois show up for. This is from a guy who is overweight. There is a lot of fat shaming going on in this part of the comic, including and especially from Superman. You'd think a guy who goes by the Man of Tomorrow would be better than telling a whole bunch of fat shaming jokes, but nope. The guy does some impressive stuff, but he eventually gets captured. In jail, his wife doesn't understand what has happened. She says he's acting different ever since he joined Mike Mosby's gym. Chekhov's Mike Mosby. That's what I'm going to name my kid. Chekhov Mike Mosby Steed. So Clark now actually has to go undercover at the gym. Even though Clark is pretty well fit, which Lois never asks the questions of, why does he seem so weak, even though this dude is jacked and has muscles upon muscles, Mike Mosby thinks he can still build up Clark. Clark, seeing through that something is wrong here, just starts using his powers to play with him, dodging every punch, and usually causing some sort of pain to Mike that is Mike's own fault. So after that's all done and he's in the gym, he meets some random normal guy, and he actually sees the guy who robbed the jewelry store. Something's up. They then work out until they're all so exhausted they can barely stand, except for Clark, who, doesn't actually have that problem, but he has to pretend. Then a voice comes out of the wall and starts hypnotizing them because they're so tired, and basically convinces them they all have muscles. I don't think that's how hypnotism works. I don't think you need to be really tired to be hypnotized if you believe in hypnotism. But two, I don't think I can hypnotize my non-existent muscles to be, super muscles. That's maybe too much of a placebo effect. They're then going to commit a crime. And Mike Mosby thinks Clark looks a lot like Superman, so they could get away with dressing him up like Superman and going to do the robbery. Clark lets this happen and is very amused by the whole process. So yeah, they rob a bunch of people and a jewelry store, and Clark kind of lets this happen, but after they've done it, he uses his super speed to take everything back and restore everything without them noticing. So once they're back at the gym, everyone thinks they've been double-crossed. And for a twist in the story, it turns out that the normal guy he had been talking to before the class started was actually the guy behind all of this and the voice in the wall. They then become suspicious that the Superman they have there is in fact the real Superman who switched with Clark. I don't know, this was a really dicey decision by Clark to, actually play at being Superman when these dumb people could have possibly guessed that he had been Superman the whole time. But yeah, once they know he's Superman, there's no reason playing dumb anymore, and he takes everybody out and throws Mike Mosby in jail. Lois gets the scoop. Good for Lois. I mean, she didn't deserve it in this comic, but good for Lois. And at the end, he's helping these guys work out in his own workout fashion. God knows what Superman's workout fashion is going to be. He kind of doesn't understand what our pain thresholds are. And that is it from Superman number 17, Muscles for Sale. Were they ever really for sale? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notification when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is Bat Friday, where I cover a Batman story in either Detective Comics or Batman. And until next time, let us ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Man of Tomorrow? And who is he building this museum for? If he's building a museum, he should just put it in the middle of the city. Okay, have a great day.